Just because players' names show up on the top of your draft board doesn't mean you have to take them. Let's play a little game today. How about a little I would rather? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there in YouTube land. And now today we're talking about some players I would rather have, right? Just because a name shows up on the top of your screen doesn't mean you have to take them. There's players that you can take later on and may get similar production for and not have to spend the higher pick on these names. I'm going to get into the list here quickly, but before I do, make sure you guys go over to the RotoBaller channel. Check it out. That live game day show is no joke. It's coming here pretty soon, September 9th, week 1. We got the live interactive roster advice, weather updates, injury updates, whatever it is you guys need last minute, we're going to have you covered over there. Make sure you go over there, check it out. There's already tons of videos up over there for you to check out. A lot of in-depth analysis also. Go check that out as soon as you can. As soon as this video is over, though. Let this one finish first. And then before that, hey, I try to keep these videos quick for you. I'm not trying to throw a bunch of ads and promotions in here. I do that on purpose because I know you guys don't have the time. But I also need a little bit of support here. This show takes a lot of time and effort to put together, and I'm trying to give you guys the best quality that I can. In order to do that, though, I got my Patreon account linked down below in the description. Anything you're able to do to help out the show is very much appreciated. But for right now, like usual, let's get into this list. First name is somebody you've heard on here before, and I usually refer to him as Fantasy Ebola, because if he's on your roster, you're going to be in trouble. And it's going to be Kareem Hunt. I know there's a lot of Kareem Hunt truthers out there, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hateful comments for even saying his name right here. But right now, he's got a first-round ADP at 10th overall. And there's people who, I don't even have notes written down for this, and I can just tell you, there's guys I'd rather take, a couple rounds later and just take my chances on. Kareem Hunt, that's a huge price tag to take for him. Right now with an ADP of actually 10. 10th overall pick for Kareem Hunt. Personally, I would rather have Jordan Howard, whose current ADP is at 23, who you can get 2 to 3 rounds later, depending on your league size. Actually, maybe 1 to 2 rounds later, depending on your league, but it doesn't matter. You can get him afterwards. Take another solid stud there in the first round. Jordan Howard, somebody's still going to get 200 plus carries in an offense that's going to have to run the ball to alleviate some of the pressure off Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky is not the second coming of, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. He's going to need some time. Yes, Tariq Cohen is there. Tariq Cohen's going to see a lot more time in the passing game. May even line up in the slot more than in the backfield. You never know. That's still high upside for Jordan Howard. 200 plus carries, 10 plus touchdowns, all a possibility. You can get him 13 picks later. Jordan Howard, somebody I'd rather have than Kareem Hunt. I'd also rather have Alex Collins, who's right now his current ADP is 37. Somebody who's also not going to have a whole lot of competition for carries in a backfield that's going to be used. When's the last time Joe Flacco produced elite wide receivers? It doesn't happen very often. They're going to run the ball in Baltimore. Alex Collins is another guy who could easily top the 200 to 250 carry mark, get close to 10 touchdowns, right up there with Kareem Hunt. Now, neither Howard or Collins are huge pass catchers. I get it. So for PPR leagues, you guys are going to want to stay with Hunt. Personally, though, I'm passing on Kareem Hunt in every format. The regression is coming. More of a committee is coming. Give me Jordan Howard or Alex Collins a couple rounds later, and I'll be happy. Let's talk about a wide receiver now, and let's talk about Mike Evans in Tampa Bay. His current ADP is 24th overall. And I don't have anything against the talent of Mike Evans. I really don't. I just think he commands a ton of targets in order to produce big numbers. And I just don't know if he sees that amount of targets this year that he's seen in the past. Yes, they still have Deshaun Jackson, who's not the same Deshaun Jackson as it used to be. But Chris Godwin's starting to come along. He's going to command targets. Whether O.J. Howard takes another step forward, Cameron Brate will be there once the season starts. And he's one of the favorite red zone targets of Jameis Winston. Not to mention Jameis Winston's going to miss the first few weeks of the season, so that could hurt Mike Evans. I mean, Ryan Fitzmagic could pepper him with the ball, but I don't see that a whole lot. They drafted Ronald Jones. They still have Peyton Barber and Charles Sims. There's other options in Tampa Bay. I just don't see Mike Evans getting the huge number of targets that he needs in order to produce those numbers at the 24th overall pick. Personally, I'd rather have Larry Fitzgerald at an ADP of 46, somebody who's gotten over 100 catches with the likes of Drew Stanton and Blaine Gabbert as his quarterback. So now he gets Sam Bradford and Josh Rosen. Still has that 1,000-yard upside with 7 to 10 touchdowns. Could be his last season in the NFL. He may want to go out with a bang. Larry Fitzgerald, somebody at least 20 picks later, I would much rather have than Mike Evans. And not to mention Doug Baldwin also. He's at 35th overall right now, and I've had a lot of questions about Doug Baldwin. Is he going to be healthy? Is he ready to go? He's already back at practice. Now, he's not 100% yet, but all signs are saying he's good to go week 1. Right now, I have him currently ranked as my wide receiver 10 if he's completely healthy. But even if he's not, wide receiver is so deep in drafts this year, you're able to find a stopgap just to get you through until Doug Baldwin's 100%. Trust me, when Doug Baldwin is 100% this year, he's going to be used a lot. There's not a whole lot of options in Seattle, and they're going to have to throw the ball in Seattle to stay relevant, to stay in games, to have a chance to win. They're going to throw the ball. Who's Russell Wilson's favorite target? It's Doug Baldwin. So even if he is banged up for the first few weeks, make sure you get a couple solid wide receivers there at the end of the draft, like a Marquise Goodwin, a Randall Cobb, Sterling Shepard, Cooper Kupp, something like that there in the mid to late rounds that you can play for a few weeks just to get you by, just in case there is a setback for Doug Baldwin. But like I said, right now all signs are pointing towards him being ready to go 100% week 1. I'd much rather have him than Mike Evans also. If you've watched the RotoBaller channel now, you pretty much know how I feel about this guy. Let's talk about Amari Cooper, whose current ADP is 35, and even saying his name makes me almost want to throw up in my mouth. It's just like, ugh. I mean, I get it. The guy has a ton of talent. I'm not taking away his talent, and he's produced some numbers in the past. But I don't think he really gives a crap. Like, his give a crap is busted. Because he just has that look on his face like, whatever. I'm going to come out here, I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to go home. I don't want that. And not to say that's the ultimate deciding factor of a football player, but I don't want to take that chance. We've seen him be inconsistent in the past. I don't want to see him be inconsistent again on my roster. I'd much rather have somebody like Demaryius Thomas, who you can get a whole round later. Right now, his current ADP is 47th overall. Just missed having a 1,000-yard season last year by 50 yards. And his quarterback was like Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler. I mean, it was bad in Denver. Now he gets Case Keenum, tons of other weapons on the outside to draw away some of the coverage. Love the upside of Demaryius Thomas. Still has that double-digit touchdown upside in Denver also. Plus somebody else I've talked about in other videos before, Jarvis Landry, whose current ADP is 46, right there next to Demaryius Thomas. I would much rather have Jarvis Landry than Amari Cooper. Just because Landry changed teams doesn't mean that his skills went away. He may run different routes now. He may be more involved in the passing game. Miami used a lot of short passes to get Landry the ball, not a whole lot of big plays. That's going to change in Cleveland. They're going to give him the opportunity to go up and get the 50-50 ball, the long passes, the long touchdowns. Jarvis Landry could actually put up better numbers than he has in the past. So he's already been a 100-yard receiver, give him close to 100 receptions this year, and he's going to have close to 7 to 10 touchdowns. That's definitely somebody I'd rather have than Amari Cooper. At least I know I'm going to get somebody who wants to compete on Sundays with Jarvis Landry. Cooper, I'm still up in the air about. I'm going to go wash this taste out of my mouth. Next up is going to be Kenyon Drake. And I know I'm not too high on Kenyon Drake either, but it's not because of Kenyon Drake. I do think that they still use Frank Gore this year, and it's just going to irritate you Kenyon Drake owners. Drake's going to help them get down the field, maybe even break off a big play, but who's going to get the goal line carry? Frank Gore. It's going to be in the fourth quarter. Drake's going to have a decent game going. They're going to be behind and trailing. They're going to be throwing the ball. Who's going to be in the game? It's probably going to be Kalen Ballage at times. It's just going to drive you crazy. Drake's going to have a decent year, but right now with the current ADP of 37, there's other options I'd rather take a few rounds later. First one, Royce Freeman. Just mentioned him a little bit earlier when we were talking about Demaryius Thomas. Royce Freeman is going to take the job in Denver, and no pun intended, he's going to run with it. Because have you seen him here in the preseason? He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. He's already scored multiple touchdowns. We've talked about the weapons that Denver has on the outside to pull defenders outside the box. Royce Freeman is somebody who can get all 3 downs, be effective, and doesn't have a whole lot of competition behind him. I mean, it's Devontae Booker. Who's worried about Devontae Booker? I don't think Royce Freeman is. I'd also rather have Lamar Miller. And I know a lot of you guys just said, Lamar Miller? Why would you want him? I mean, he's been back-to-back RB2s in fantasy. And right now his ADP is 48th overall. So you getting him as your RB2 more than likely. He's a safe floor. He's not going to go out and get these huge weeks, but he's a safe RB2 for you. Much safer than Kenyon Drake. And right now with Donta Foreman out in Houston, Lamar Miller is going to get the bulk of the work almost for all 3 downs. And it's not a great offensive line in Houston, but Lamar Miller, like I said, is just a safe bet. He's not going to go up and put up huge numbers. He's not going to go out and rush for 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns by any means. But if I had to choose between him and Kenyon Drake, I'm going to wait 12 more picks, take Lamar Miller, and take the safe bet. Let's talk about another overrated wide receiver. Let's talk about Allen Robinson in Chicago. Right now, his current ADP is 48th overall, so 4th, 5th round, which isn't way expensive on draft day. But do we want to take that chance coming off of a major injury to a new team with a new offense, with a new quarterback? And I'm not entirely sold that that new quarterback is going to target him exclusively. There's other options there for him to throw to. They're going to be heavily involved in the run game in Chicago. Allen Robinson just has way too many question marks for me. It's a guy who's produced 1 year in Jacksonville, and all of a sudden we're crowning him as a top 10 wide receiver. He has tons of talent. I just don't know if he's in the right situation to put up huge numbers. I'd rather wait another round or so, take the likes of Marvin Jones, who finished last year as a wide receiver 1 in some formats. His current ADP right now is 59. The only thing you got to worry about with Marvin Jones is maybe Kenny Galladay takes a step forward, but it's the Detroit Lions. Their defense is not elite by any means. They're going to have to throw. They're going to throw anyway. They have Matthew Stafford there to throw the ball. They didn't draft and keep and pay Matthew Stafford to turn around and hand the ball off 30 times to LeGarrette Blount and Kerryon Johnson. It's not going to happen. They're going to continue to throw. Marvin Lewis has that huge touchdown upside in that offense. I love the opportunity that Marvin Jones has. Plus, I'd rather have Marquise Goodwin, somebody else who I've mentioned in videos, and you can get him at the 80th overall pick right now. 80th compared to the 48th of Allen Robinson, that's huge value. Marquise Goodwin's already the favorite target of Jimmy G. He's the West Coast version of Tyreek Hill. Basically, same type of game. And Jimmy G's already looking for him. There's not a whole lot of options in San Francisco. You got Pierre Garçon, George Kittle, Marquise Goodwin, Jerick McKinnon. 2 of those guys I just named are banged up, and one's coming off a major injury last year to his neck. Marquise Goodwin's going to see a lot of work, and you can get him almost 4 rounds later. I'd much rather have Marquise Goodwin than Allen Robinson. One thing I'm not going to have this year is going to be crabs. And I'm talking about Michael Crabtree. Get your mind out of the gutter, people. Well, I don't want nothing to do with Michael Crabtree. I don't care where he's playing. He's in Baltimore. There are no elite wide receivers in Baltimore. There never has been. Steve Smith was like the lone exception there for a short amount of time, but Flacco just limits wide receivers' upside. He's not that great of a quarterback. He's serviceable at best. And right now, Michael Crabtree's overall ADP is 70, which I know isn't way early and you're not putting a whole lot into it. But if you're drafting Michael Crabtree and expecting the same type of numbers he'd put up in Oakland and the same type of touchdowns, it's not going to happen. It's a totally different offense. It's a run-first offense there. John Brown, it actually looks a lot better than I think most people expected, and he could end up being one of Flacco's favorite targets. Not anywhere near the Michael Crabtree bandwagon this year. I'd much rather have the likes of the 97th overall pick, and that's Robbie Anderson in New York. I know he's got some legal issues that we don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. And I know with the law side of it, he's okay, but the NFL could still suspend him at any moment, and he's somebody who's had multiple off-field issues in the past. But he's the 97th overall pick. By that time, you're not counting on him for week 1, but he still has high upside regardless of who the quarterback is in New York. Is it going to be Darnold? Is it going to be McCown? Is it going to be Bridgewater? I don't think it really matters. Robbie Anderson's still going to be one of the top targets in that offense, and you're investing something in the 9th to 10th round. I'd much rather have that. I'd also rather have Jamison Crowder, who's right now ADP of 98 overall, and he's more than likely going to be the top target for Alex Smith in Washington. Josh Doxson's already dealing with, minor injuries here in camp. And Crowder just fits Alex Smith's game, right? I know for a long time Alex Smith was, the king of the check down. And that changed somewhat last year in Kansas City, but that doesn't mean that it can't somewhat change back again now. He's going to be looking for Jamison Crowder, early and often in Washington. And Crowder's somebody I can see could sneakily, I made that word up. I've made it up in the past, just decided to use it again. Sneakily get close to 100 catches this year. And he's somebody you can get at the 98th overall pick, 9th, 10th round, right around in there. And I'd much rather have somebody like that with that high upside that I don't have to waste an early pick on. I'm not paying for Michael Crabtree based off of last year's production this year. I want nothing to do with crabs. All right, well, there's a few would I rathers. That's kind of a fun game to play. Those are some guys that I'd rather have over some of the bigger names that you're going to see on the top of your draft board at times. But I want to see who you would rather take. Make sure you hit me up down below in the comment section. Who are some names out there that you'd rather have instead of some of these guys in the earlier rounds? I'm looking forward to hearing some of the feedback, see what you guys have, and what you guys think about some of the would I rathers that I listed. Really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing, though. Channel's still going like crazy. That's all because of you guys. Really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.